Okay, good morning, world. How are we? Okay, so this morning I kind of ummed and ahed a little bit about what the topic should be. But I was having a conversation with my partner about, like being the change that you wish to see and reinventing yourself. Trying to, when you want to change your life, you want to better circumstances and things. There's sort of like a mindset or a saying of, that nothing's going to change unless you change. You change yourself, you change your own circumstances. And they say change is as good as a holiday. So we were just talking a bit about that sort of stuff. And that could come in lots of different ways. It could come from quitting smoking, or when you make New Year's resolutions, and this year you say, okay, I'm going to focus a lot more on wellness, on exercise, on eating better, eating healthy things, just being more conscious of that, drinking more water, getting more rest, more sleep, self-care, all good things. And then obviously it's because you're wanting to achieve something from those changes, aren't you? You want to change your appearance, maybe you want to lose a little bit of weight. Self-care, maybe you just want to put a bit more attention on yourself physically, because maybe you've neglected yourself a bit. I think we all kind of do that from time to time, especially if you're busy. You put things off, or you forget to do things. Like yesterday I know this is a small thing, but I just finally, after 2 or 3 weeks of looking at my fingernails and saying, I've got to, remove that nail polish. It looks so ugly when it's all, half picked off, scratched off or whatever. And I'm just so busy all the time. I just forget all the time. And then finally yesterday I made a point of, no, I'm going to the bathroom and take this damn nail polish off. And you feel better about yourself, but it could be as big, the change could be as big as quitting a job that you hate, that makes you miserable. Maybe you're treated really poorly there. That's a really common thing, and it's actually a lot more common, I think, in the trade industry. And I say that because of, my partner is a tradie, and while he has had his own business for, I don't know, it's more than 15 years or something, that's not what he does all the time. So he does work for other companies, and it's so annoying and frustrating and upsetting, and to hear about just how poorly employers can speak to people for no reason. It's, even when you haven't done something wrong, or whatever, just maybe they're in a bad mood and they take it out on the people around them. And sometimes it's extreme. Like, my partner's told me stories before about a boss, he cracked it at one of the other workers, and, to the point that he, like, picked something up and, like, just tossed it, like, in absolute rage. It's just, and I just was thinking about, it is hard, isn't it, to, like, make a change like that, because you have to have another job lined up. You have to have some financial security, otherwise, how are you going to feed yourself or your family or pay your bills? And then, what are your options? You have to kind of take a really big leap of faith. There are risks involved. You don't necessarily know what a new place of employment would be like. So reinventing yourself, I feel like it's very important sometimes in your life when you need positive change. Hang on. Oh, needed that sip. And like yesterday's video, I touched on a little bit about my past, and if you're a woman in a DV situation, then yes, you have to really seriously think about positive change, especially if you've got children, and how you can safely do that, because it is proven through statistics that trying to leave a situation like that is actually the most dangerous time. I don't know if that's widely enough known, but it is. But everything has to be done in absolute secrecy. Just quickly on that, if anyone watching is in that situation or knows somebody who is, this is very close to my heart, and I want to make sure that anybody who ever needs help gets help. You can go to your GP and have a completely confidential discussion about those things. They will give you all of the support that you need, contacts, etc. You can organise secret meetings through places like your doctors. You can go to your bank institution, and a lot of them also help women who are trying to leave DV situations, especially with children. They can help you financially. They can give you funds to do so. I know Commonwealth Bank, I'm pretty sure, does that, is one of them. And your local community house can also help with things like, say if you were in a situation like that, and part of the abuse was that you were being very closely monitored, that you weren't spending money on anything that you weren't allowed. you can get food supplies and things like that through a community house that understands, you know, you have a private conversation with them about what's happening. You can get free food and meals through them, and then you have your shopping budget available to you to do what you need to do. Just so you know, there are things, there are ways of doing things in secret, which is very necessary to get out of that situation. And also keeping records. Keep records, secretly keep records. Especially anything audio or visual. And go to your police. Have private conversations with your police. Need to get records. So, talking about reinventing yourself, starting over, making changes in your life. You know, it's a big one that I think that a lot of people are fearful of. You know, it's sort of like that thing of, you know, when you get to a certain level of being over it, having enough. You know, other people might see it as having some sort of breakdown, but you know, it's like the Britney Spears thing of just going and shaving your hair off, like not being other people are expecting you to be, and you know, for other people, it's a less extreme version of just, you know, cutting your hair, dyeing your hair, changing your style of clothes. You know, sometimes it gives you the confidence and like the momentum to change your life, make different choices. And I just wanted to talk about that because I think that it should be more acceptable to do too, because I think that, you know, in society maybe there's a bit of pressure to fit inside a box, to tick all the same little boxes that everybody else is ticking around you, you know, to not stand out from the crowd too much. You know, and it depends on where you live too. I mean, when you live in a regional country town, it's even more obvious if you're looking any kind of different, you know, than say if you were living in a city. You know, in a city there's millions of people around, everybody looks different, everyone's got their own different vibe going on, you know. But in the country, it's sort of more like the going vibe is farmer vibe, and you know, there's not too many people walking around looking different, or, you know, it's not just about looking different, it's just about being more true to yourself. You know, when my partner and I moved to Gippsland from the Mornington Peninsula, we both had dreadlocks, and you know, long hair, long dreadlocks, with different beads in our hair, and even different coloured wool wrapped around certain sections, and you know, dressed hippier, and all that sort of stuff. We walked around barefoot a lot because, you know, we really got into this like earthing thing in our lives for health benefits and just feeling more free. And it's funny how you know, even though we're more surrounded by nature now, which is what we were seeking as well. You know, we love being around nature. We love being around the bushwalks, you know, the mountains where there's waterfalls and rivers and beautiful, beautiful. And, you know, it's funny how when you come to a place, I mean, we were already, you know, you experience a bit of this like outsider thing, where it's like everyone looks at you and they're like, who are you? You're new to town. You're not from here. I don't know your family. I didn't go to primary school with your grandma. You know? There's that. But if you look different too, like having long dreadlocks with beads and coloured wools and all that, then people judge you very quickly, you know. They think things about you. You know, I mean, I think in our situation, I mean, it has been specifically voiced. The assumption was told to my partner that yeah, people just assume that if you've got dreadlocks that you take drugs, and you know, I think also people assume that you're promiscuous or something, because I don't know, people tend to not have boundaries towards you, you know, about what they talk about and stuff. Move, ducky. Yeah, so, you know, it's funny because, you know, even with the dreadlock thing, I actually only did that to my hair. Well, I did actually have it in my hair when I was like 20. I had my hair like that. And that was because I actually went to the salon and got my hair permed. I wanted to have curly hair. So I got my hair professionally permed, and then I didn't like it. So I got like this hair wax stuff and dreadlocked my hair. And that was the first time I ever had dreadlocks. And I was quite hippie then too. And anyway, then I had normal hair for years, and then it was actually when I left my DV relationship back on the Mornington Peninsula, and part of my emancipation, my freeing of myself from that, was to dreadlock my hair and dress more in line with my inner self, you know, because I was very controlled in that relationship about my appearance and things. I wasn't even allowed to curl my hair with my hair straightener. Anyway, so yeah, that's why I did it when, you know, going back like 10 years ago. And then when people, you know, because it took like a year or so for me to move out to Gippsland after that, and yeah, I just remember like people thinking, oh, Christy's making, you know, really dramatic changes to her appearance. Is everything okay? You know, like, yes, I'm actually doing really great. Feel good about myself. Thank you. And then moving up to Gippsland, you know, even the Mornington Peninsula, it's like there's so much more surfies and people like that, you know, having dreadlocks in the Mornington Peninsula was like not that big of a deal. But like coming out to Gippsland, it's like everyone stares at you. And eventually, you know, judgment from people around here, and also, as I previously explained, with having to go through family court and stuff, dealing with authorities and things, my appearance really became like the forefront of a concern, you know, like it exasperated even authorities' assumptions about me, you know, and so I had to like cut my hair and brush out my hair, and it was a whole huge process. Now I don't have dreadlocks anymore, and you know, I'm not that upset about it, because I do like just having long straight hair, and I realise as well that, you know, who you are doesn't depend on your hairstyle, does it? You know, it's your personality, it's what you're into. But yeah, being yourself, being the change that you want in your life, you know, the change creator, can sometimes be, you know, cause its own issues, can't it? Whether it's because you've got to take that leap of faith and you know, but you need financial security for your family, or even just for yourself, or if it is your appearance, you know, oh, kitty, there we go. Yeah, so being the change, making the change, you know, I think it's something that everybody should think about doing, though. You know, you can't live your life stuck. You can't live your life being a prisoner. You know, you shouldn't be going through life feeling like a prisoner in any situation, job, relationship, family, you know, where you live geographically. Yeah, to feel like a prisoner is just to feel like you don't have a voice, or you don't have a say about it, or yeah, being treated badly, or anything, you know, anything like that. You know, people should really just reflect, take some time, and reflect on whatever situation is causing you any kind of upset in your life. And, you know, it'd be good if you've got a great partner, or, you know, a friend or family member that you can mull over it with, you know, talk about it, have a yarn. Sometimes other people have great little, you know, it could just be one sentence. It could be one little piece of advice that someone gives you that really makes a big difference. You know, and sometimes people can inspire you from afar too, can't they? Like this place where we live now, you know, it's a house on a farm property. We don't use it as a farm, but our neighbour across the road is this lovely elderly woman. And I say elderly, I mean she's like, you know, 80 odd. And she is still she is still kicking it. She is over there gardening all the time. She helps people in the community. She's a part of the community house. She's a part of the church. She's a part of the women's association. You know, she's just this great lady who, you know, like a little Energizer bunny. She's just always going. And you know, her partner, her husband, died several years ago. And, you know, now she just takes care of the property and managing life and everything by herself. And, you know, her family all live a bit away and everything. And, yeah, I look at her all the time and she inspires me, you know? I want to be like her. I just, she's such a lovely person. She's so kind and giving, um, you know, thoughtful. And, yeah, it's funny how, yeah, just sometimes people don't even mean it, do they? But they be a positive influence that you see, and it can put you in a mindset of, yeah, I'm going to make this change in my life, or I'm going to start doing this, or be a part of that, and, you know, because I want to be more like this. And that's good, that's healthy, you know? It's like setting goals for yourself to achieve. And especially, it's always good if it helps, you know, your family, if it helps other people, if it helps your community. Um, yeah. But, you know, it's like when you're a kid and you've got idols, you know? And your idol could be, you know, your local fireman or policeman. Um, or it could be, you know, because you watch cartoons and things, you know, like one of my girls is really into Paw Patrol. Always talks about, you know, being a firefighter or a policeman when she grows up. Um, yeah, and I just think it's something that everybody should be doing is sitting down and thinking about what changes need to be made in their life, whether it's personal or whether it's, you know, a job change, you know, some other change in your life that's a healthy boundary, protection, you know, those sort of things. Because your life is your life, you know, and you don't know how long it's going to be. And don't you want your life to be what you design, what you choose for yourself, you know? Whether it's changing your hair colour to the hair colour you've always wanted, whether it's, you know, finally signing up for a course to study something that you really want to get into, you know, taking a leap of faith, you know. I mean, I find talking to God comforting, you know, letting God know my ideas, my hopes, my dreams. You know, my partner is great to talk to, so good. You know, um, and yeah, just invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. That is probably the message of today. All right. Well, you all have a blessed day. The sun is shining and warm where I am. I've had to wear my sunnies today, this morning. Yeah, I hope you are all well. I'm sorry about my steering wheel being in the way. I hope you're all well. I hope you all have a great day. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.